I have tried to record this video around 70 or 80 times, and that is not an over-exaggeration. Anyway, greetings, this is Fern from NGH, and I changed my t-shirt for this video. I'm currently wearing a Magikarp t-shirt, because you know Magikarp gets a lot of crap for being simply what it is, and there's no such thing as bad Pokemon, just bad trainers. Anyway, why do I bring up Magikarp? Well, there's been a topic that's popped up quite a few times on a furry and social network known as Primal State. There's a link to it if you haven't joined, if you know, kin, overkin, whatever, in the doobly-doo, the underbar, the crotch bar, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I want to put my whole 2 cents into this thing. So, the topic that's popped up a few times is basically kin from serious categories just being outright dismissed or treated like crap purely because they're in said categories. Now, you know, and kin being closed-minded and automatically dismissing and, you know, that kind of thing in general. So, I want to put my 2 cents into it. So, first things first, there's 3 major things that cross my line. Now, when these 3 things are claimed, it doesn't mean that they're not kin. The person claiming them, it doesn't mean that they're not kin. It simply means that, they've got this wrong. Okay? So, first things first. Really popular buzzword one, physical shifting. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. You cannot physically transform from human to whatever. It just doesn't happen. I wish it would. Who doesn't want Mystique's powers? I do. I love to change into a dragon or a werewolf or a reptile guy or a fucking tiger or a butterfly or a something else. That would be awesome! That would be so cool! But it's impossible. And don't give me that, you have to train for many years in order to master it. And even then, only if you believe in your heart and soul. And clip your heels together and say there's no place like home, there's no place like home. Before it would finally work. Bullshit! It doesn't work. It's not real. It doesn't happen. And even if it was possible that you could physically change your form, right, you would die. Your body would not be able to go through that much stress. You would die from shock. You would. You would. Moving on. The next 2 are kind of in the same category. That is, people who claim that in a previous life they were royalty or that their kin type had another name. Now, first things first, as you all know, I believe it's psychological, that it's all in the head, and yeah, I'm not a spiritual guy at all, but this is just one of these things that's just bullshit. This applies most to furries though and otherkin, because, you know, otherkin, elves, demons, frigging dragons, angels. I don't know about dragons, but the rest can have royalty. And dragons and the others, yeah, they can have names. Furries, no. You may be wolfkin, sure, but you are not. I repeat, you are simply not the reincarnation of the Wolf Queen Lunar Shadowpaw. You are not. You simply are not the reincarnation of King Black-Eye Megafang, the frigging Pander King. You may be Panderkin, but you're not that. You know, you may be friggin' Kestrelkin, but you are not. I repeat, you are simply not the reincarnation of Princess Flame Wing Autumn Breeze. You're just not. You know, animals don't have royalty other than humans. Other than humans, animals don't have names. You know, non-human animals communicate via various things such as scent, body language, various sound cues, but they don't communicate via names. They don't have names. Humans are the only animals that give us ourselves names that we know of. There could be life up there, but we don't know. Alright? But yeah, they're the 3 things I really draw the line on. It doesn't mean that the people claiming them are not kin, it just means that they're simply wrong about that. There's some things that a friend of mine and a few acquaintances really hate, and that's other kin that class themselves as furrians. You know, if you're dragonkin or griffinkin, you're not a furrian. You're otherkin. Furrians are animals that exist in real life. Otherkin are creatures that exist in folklore and mythology and whatever. So yeah, I don't really hate that as much as they seem to do, but yeah, that it still doesn't make sense. In fact, I remember making a video ages ago called Otherkin and Furrians, the Hard to Believe Ones, at which point I stated Otherkin in general are hard to believe. And I don't agree with that anymore. Because I'm a person of science and logic, I kind of believe that if you believe I automatically believe the people who agree with me more than the spiritual kinds, because that's just what I believe in, you know. But yeah, generally it comes down to the individual person, you know. Moving on, I know fiction-kin get a lot of crap. And you know, Otherkin can give fiction-kin crap, Furrians can give fiction-kin crap, any group can give fiction-kin or Otaku-kin or whatever. They get a lot of crap for being what they are. Now, this one's aimed at Otherkin more than anything else. Otherkin who hate fiction-kin. Not all Otherkin, but this is aimed mainly at Otherkin who hate fiction-kin. What's the difference between Otherkin and fiction-kin? Here's the difference. Fiction-kin have kin types that exist in stories and tales, whatever, that exist in fiction that is new. Otherkin have creatures and beings and whatever that existed and created in stories that are years upon years upon years old. That's the difference. The created creatures that come under the Otherkin category are older than the created creatures that come under the fiction-kin category. Someone who has a Klingon kin type is nowhere near more or less genuine or believable than someone who has, say, a Griffin kin type. Okay, just because your kin type has existed longer in fiction doesn't mean it's more believable. Alright, it never existed in the first place. So please stop giving fiction-kin crap. Then we got things like Plankin. I'd love to meet a Plankin. I've never met one before. I would think I'm someone who... I've been classed as a hippie many times, and a obsessive nature lover many times. An earth worshipper, even, for some reason. I'm not. You know, I do not romanticize nature or glorify it in any way. I just like it. But yeah, I'd love to meet a Plankin. That would be so cool. I'd love to know what that's like. Moving on, Object-kin. Now, Object-kin are another group that kind of got a bit of crap because, ooh, they're not living things. Well, here's the thing. If you're making up that you're a fucking cuddly toy-kin, or a spoon-kin, or a broom-kin, or a bridge-kin, or a building-kin, or a fan, or Hoover, or whatever, you're simultaneously the least creative person and most creative person in the world. And once again, I've not met any Object-kin as far as I'm aware of. So once again, I'd love to meet Object-kin. That is so fascinating. I'd love to know what it's like to be something, to identify as something that isn't alive. So yeah. When it comes down to saying when it comes down to saying someone's believable, there's a few factors involved. First of all, it's what you believe in. So for me, as I've stated, I'm far more likely to believe someone who shares my opinions. It's not something I go out to do. It's just, yeah, it's the same with anyone. If someone shares your opinions, you're far more likely to agree with them than, far more likely to believe them than, not. And it comes down to the individual person. It also comes down to when they were awake. Now, speaking of which, when I first awoke, I acted like your typical faker. Your typical wannabe who knows absolutely nothing about it. I claim things, like I've said many times before, I've claimed things, I'm really ashamed of this in fact, I claim things that, we were a separate species to humans, that we were better than humans, blah blah blah, and I received I received quite a bit of hate from that in college, and rightfully so, because I was an idiot. If I could travel back in time, I would punch myself in the face. I was a moron. But here's the thing. There were other kin. Not otherkin. Well, one of them was otherkin. But there were other kin who, instead of calling me an idiot, and instead of calling me a moron, instead of beating me across the face, gave me food for thought. They stated their opinions, they gave me food for thought, they communicated with me in a calm way. They gave me information. And I was lucky enough to have that. I skipped through my crazy stage so fast. I know of someone who, their crazy stage lasted years because they got involved with the wrong people. Now, I don't want to start drama here, but there was someone who posted videos on YouTube about furry entropy that was nowhere near as bad as I used to be. Nowhere near. In fact, I didn't see that much of an issue. Sure, there was some kind of things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I just thought, okay, new kin, got things to learn. But there were a lot of kin in the comment section that were treating her like complete shit, calling her idiot and whatever. And it's like, that's not how you do it. It's just not how you do it. It really isn't. You really want to be that person? Wouldn't you rather help them? Give them food for thought, give them information, links for information, that kind of thing? Wouldn't you rather be that person who someone just basically blatantly calls them a moron? But yeah, I've changed a lot since I started making YouTube videos. I used to scream and shout down the camera all the time. I used to get really over the top over the stupid things, and there's still topics I get really riled up about. But yeah, I think in the years of making YouTube videos, greatly because of other kin, and getting involved with certain groups, that I've become a more open-minded person. I've become a calmer person, and I didn't reach that by getting a lot of crap from people, and when I did find people I got crap from, it was usually just idiot trolls. Very rarely have I got crap from fellow kin. I've been lucky with that. You're not helping someone, even if you completely disagree. I mean, I know kin who have opinions that I think is have opinions, no beliefs that I think is completely out there, and is like, what? But instead of treating them like shit, I communicate with them, and you'll find that most kin, even if they hold pretty out there beliefs, most people in general, even if they hold pretty out there beliefs, are actually pretty grounded. They're decent people. The only time I really have issues with beliefs these days is if it completely defies logic, like the whole, names thing, or if it negatively affects other people, like the whole Christian bashing, homosexuals thing, But yeah, point of this video, before I run out of time, I think, you're gonna find dickheads. You're gonna find great people or whatever in every group. Try not to be the dickhead. Okay? Instead of outright dismissing someone just because they hold a certain belief or they're a certain kind of kin, have a conversation with them. Shoot ideas their way. They can shoot ideas your way. You can learn things from them, they can learn things from you. You could just agree to disagree, or, I don't know, make a friend. This is incredibly optimistic, and I'm feeling dirty for being this optimistic, but yeah.
She wanted to come in, Andrew.
Let her in.
Sorry about that. It's not my fault,
Every time.